We're learning Sfas Emes in Parsha Shlach to V'Ishlam and Aleph. Ashlichus Ma'ash Leyuta Bein Hashem, when they were sent to do the shlichus of seeking out Eretz Yisrael, the Meraglim. Rak Kiyor Eitzer, there was a way of saving themselves, the notzel, to be saved from their own selves. Through that HaKadosh Baruch Hu would make from this a mitzvah. Hashem would fight for them by helping them to make their action a mitzvah. Why? Even though they wanted to go as Meraglim, it was the initiative of man. Still, once they were told that they could go, and Moshe Rabbeinu told them to go, they should have put all of their intent and effort to nullify their own inner desires, only to do it in order to do that which Moshe Rabbeinu said to do, which is the Ratzon of Hashem Yisborach, to fulfill a shlichus of a tzaddik. And that way they would have been saved. And that way they would have accomplished what they had to accomplish. That's why it says lamer. It says lamer, that they know that it was a tzivay Hashem Yisborach. In other words, that's what Moshe Rabbeinu said, lamer, you are being told to do something. So too in every mitzvah, is a lesson to be learned from here. The Meraglim, it's too late to teach them messages, but by every mitzvah, a person nullifies himself, all of his desires. He doesn't even want to merit levels, only to do Ratzon Hashem B'lvad. He doesn't want to become elevated. He doesn't want to become someone who comprehends the universe. That is called that he gives his life in the shlichus. He has no longer his own interests at all. For if he adds his desires, he's not a shlich anymore. He's doing it for his own personal needs. That's why it says, by the shlichah Yeshua, when Yeshua sent the two shlichim, it says cherish. The word cherish is placed there, at the mute, someone who's deaf and dumb. They made themselves as if they were kidoran. What's a kidoran? A vessel made out of earth. I heard this Sfas Emes says from my grandfather, the Chedush Zatzal, that since they went to the home, where did they end up going to? The home of a Isha Zoina, a woman, an immoral woman. Therefore, they had to nullify, before they went there, their entire being, because this was totally anathema to them. That's what it means, cherish. They didn't notice anything. They had no feeling. They controlled their entire being. That's why it says kidoran. What's kidoran? This is a vessel made out of ceramic. There has no value. Only to use it to hold something within it. But the actual physical earthenware vessel isn't anything. So too, the nullification to know that a person is acting as a shliach, whether it's b'mitzvahs or at the command of Moshe Rabbeinu. He's like the axe in the hand of the cutter, and he is only a vessel to do the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but not to have any part of his own being involved. And certainly this medrash teaches us what shiur is, what it means to live in this world. That a person was sent to a place where he's always in danger. But everything where he finds himself has no value. It's Hevel v'rayon ruach, as Shlomo HaMelech says. It's all valueless. How does one survive? Through mitzvahs. That in every action of man, he should know that what he's doing is only the desire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And thereby, he can attach himself to his inner being, which comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So the way one has to do mitzvahs, in every action of a person, he should do only that what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants him to do, and that way he reaches the very depths of his life, which comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and which is found in every action. And that is an element that's called Shabbos. As it says, Lasis is a Shabbos, that a person is meant to make Shabbos, even though Shabbos itself is there because HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed it, sanctified it. He has to somehow make Shabbos. And here the Sfas Emes adds that means even in the days of the work week, a person also has to have somehow attached to his actions that inner life, which is Shabbos. And how does he come to that level of Kedusha which Shabbos has? Through the mitzvahs that he does. Because Shabbos itself is something that's above the natural. And its Kedusha, its sanctity, is established in there because God sanctified it. Just as Bnei Yisrael, by keeping Shabbos, that they continue the action of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the level of Shabbos the whole week. That's how a person should serve Hashem, knowing that the Kedusha is there. I heard that's why you say Friday night, Shovas Vayinovash, Chazal tell us, Vay of the Nefesh, woe, we have lost the soul. The question is that should come at the end of Shabbos when the Neshama Yisera goes away. And the answer is that every Shabbos we're uplifted and we think we're going to have that a whole week. And then when we come to the next Friday night, we realize that we weren't able to keep up that level of attachment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which He gave us through Shabbos. And that's what is the essence of the Meraglim, the spies, to bring the Hatorah, the natural world and its nature. Because in the Midbar, they were in a sense free people. They had no obligations. They didn't have to work. They had food. They had clothing. They had air conditioning. They had heat. And it says Cherus ala Luchos, that the Chazal translated, they were free and they didn't have any yoke. And they had to bring the light of Torah into this natural world. And this is what the Zohar HaKodesh says. And this is what it says in the Zohar. Chevron. What's Chevron? Torah Sheba'al Peh. That Chevron, when they came to Chevron, it means they came to Torah Sheba'al Peh. Because whoever learns Torah Sheba'al Peh is called a Chaver. Talmid Chacham are called Chaverim. The Tanoim are called Chaverim. Chaver also means that the Talmid Chacham, every action of his is done because of his understanding of Torah. And that in and of itself attaches him to Torah. That's why we say Targilenu b'Zerah Sefer. We don't say, the wording is used Targilenu. Here the Sfas Emes is using a Hasidic play on words of regel. They were spies. Somebody who's spies, the root is also to meragel. They're meraglim. Shetargilenu b'Zerah Sefer. We should be able to bring the light of Torah into the natural order as well, because Regilus is also from that root into the everyday process of living and nature. And that we can do through mitzvahs. That's why it says they went and spied out Eretz Canaan to bring the concept of Torah into nature, to see through Torah the nature of Eretz Yisrael. As the Zohar says in Parshas Vayero on the posuk Hanitzonim niru be'oretz. Eis hazom egia v'koil haTorah nishma ba'artzenu. As the Zohar Kodesh says, mentions in Vayero that you find things blossoming. That what's the blossoming? It doesn't mean the fruit and the beautiful flowering of the fruits, but rather it means the inner light that one has to find within that which is hidden. And that's the light that was put away in Ma'aseh Bereshis and which comes out on Shabbos, and which we are able to visualize, to absorb, as it says, Marav Tuvcho, says, how great is the goodness of Hashem that He permitted and gave us the ability, as Sfas Emes mentions elsewhere, that why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu continue to reside in this world on Shabbos? For otherwise, the world would have no attachment to sanctity. It would have been the 6 days of work, a very physical world. By staying in this world Shabbos, it enabled a person to appreciate Kedusha, sanctity. And if we place the emphasis on that, of fulfilling the Ratzon of Hashem, the desire of Hashem, then we can overcome even the greatest of urges, of personal urges that we have. May we be zeichet to do so. We zeichet to the coming of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'meira v'yameinu. Amen.